1075 The Game Podcasting is sponsored by Modern Exterminating, a family-oriented company. Professional, honest, and dependable pest control solutions. We're your one-stop shop for all pests.
The NFL over the weekend.
Ooh, a lot of fun.
It's delivering. I told you this a while back. I didn't know if it was me being sick and watching more football, maybe being a little bit more limited. I wasn't sure what exactly it was, but I felt like I was watching more NFL this football season, and I felt like I was watching a lot more really good games. And aside from the 49ers Seahawks, it was another really good weekend with 2 of the 4 games going to overtime, and Houston, New England being a relatively good game. New England winning that one by 12.
Yeah, no, the NFL consistently delivers in its postseason. It is very rare compared to like what we see in college football when you have a blowout win like the Seahawks had over the 49ers, which, funny enough, they scored all the points they needed in the first 13 seconds. Raheed Shaheed's kickoff return was every point they needed to win that game, but that's more of the exception and not necessarily the rule. The competitive balance in the NFL is so good right now. When you watch during the season, anybody can beat anybody on a given Sunday. There's a reason there's only been one undefeated team in NFL history up to this point, and the playoffs are delivering. Again, I thought the Bills were going to win on the road to Denver. They didn't. I felt confident in the Rams winning on the road, but when Caleb Williams had his crazy touchdown, the Bears were driving in overtime, like, oh, the Bears are about to win this and go to the NFC Championship. Obviously, Caleb Williams throws an interception, and the rest is history there. But, man, just a ton of good games this weekend. I'm excited for the matchups. We get this upcoming weekend in the conference championships, and we should, and like last year, should have a good Super Bowl.
Where do we go with this basketball program? Because I don't want to give up on them yet, Tyler. And let me be all in all seriousness. When I say I don't want to give up on them, I don't want to sell the season out just yet. But I like to think that I'm a relatively smart man when it comes to college basketball. And I've seen this team. They obviously were competitive to an extent on Saturday against Auburn. It also took Auburn shooting 2 of 19 from three-point range, and essentially Auburn, in my opinion, this is my opinion, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody, this is Bill Gunner's opinion, Tyler Head can agree with me or anybody else, it felt more like Auburn looked at the little stat sheet and read South Carolina's name and saw South Carolina's record and knew who South Carolina was and was like, this is a team that we continuously clobber. I believe it was at 10 straight or 11 straight.
It's a streak. I can't remember the number, but it's been a while.
And I feel like Auburn just rolled into the gym already kind of making their plans for the evening, not worried about the big game. That's how it came across to me, and South Carolina tried to take advantage of it and simply couldn't.
Well, and we know from the previous Saturday that Auburn beat the same Arkansas team that drug South Carolina by over 20 points, so they're capable of playing better. Didn't play their best game. I will say the Philip Jovic is a very impressive player, and he was the star of the show on Saturday night. But again, Carolina tried to take advantage. They got over that magical 30% from 3, which kind of seems to be their line in the sand of if they're going to win or lose a game. Got to just to tick over it, make an 8 of 25. But at the end of the day, not quite enough. What's that mean for momentum? I don't know, maybe nothing. Again, tonight's the most winnable game you've had in a couple weeks. You have it at home. Take advantage of it. Again, does that change the course of the season? Not necessarily, but it's better than losing.
South Carolina absolutely fell on its nose and broke it this year. I mean, tripped, acted like they never walked before. You were a preseason top 15, and you didn't. You're 4-8. I got it. I totally understand where you're coming from. But you know what? I want South Carolina to be ranked. I want a little bit of publicity. I want them to have to live up to the hype or whatever it is that they get. You can't be afraid of it. And preseason polls mean nothing, Tyler. Look, what Clemson was, what was it? Clemson was 2 and Penn State was 3.
2 or 3, yeah. The Texas was 1. Yeah, and all of them ended up, Texas rebounded, but none of them had the seasons they wanted to.
This isn't about whether the polls matter or anything like that, but it is about what we talk about more specifically in this portion of the country for the next 9 months, and that's college football and who's going to be great. There's your poll. We aren't 24 hours removed from the national championship, and Brandon Marcello's already put out a way too early, which is ridiculous. I get it. We don't even know who's going to finish up with the portal.
But, hey, his guess is as good as ours.
It is.
Yeah.
But my point is, that's what we do.
Sure.
And so if you want to poo-poo the poll and be like, well, it don't matter, I totally get it.
It creates narratives.